And I think we're live.
Oh, it says on air.
On air?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if we're on air, we're on air. I am a complete rookie at doing lives. So if somebody can please tell me if you can see this. Yeah, it says we're live right now. Well, this is cool.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
nice. We're officially live, and I'm gonna have see if anybody comes on. Hopefully. I mean, we're not that famous, so who wants to come and watch us?
But we could be after this. So, we just give it everything we got. We should at least message the boys and let them know we're live so we can
you
start getting some support here.
you know what?
Oh, I lost my camera.
You lost your camera? I still see you. Oh no,
Yeah.
we lost your camera. Yeah, we lost it.
Hmm.
We lost Mike Summerton, guys. Excuse me. This is supposed to be a podcast about our fishing trip to Texas. So welcome to the channel. Welcome everybody to Nelly's Fishing Adventures. I hope you guys can see this properly because we plan to talk for a while, and it's gonna be a good time. We're gonna tell you guys about the adventure we had while we were in Texas. While my friend fixes his camera here, I am gonna send a quick message to my friends to come and join us live.
I'm working on it. I don't know if you guys can still hear me, but
I can hear you loud and clear, buddy.
all right. So I just pulled the battery from the GoPro
Okay.
and connecting it right into the computer. So hopefully this works.
I hear stuff happening back there.
Yeah, it's starting to connect on here. There we go.
There we go. We're live. We're live.
Not that everybody wants to see this beautiful mug, but I'm here.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Well, the good thing is that YouTube does save the live stream, so right now we're gonna upload it. We're gonna start talking about our trip, and anybody wants to watch it later on, I will push it on my social media platforms. I'm pretty sure Mike will push it on his social media. He'll share the links with everybody, and anybody right now that wants to join us on YouTube Live, the chat is open. The chat is yours. Ask away. We are going to talk about our trip to Texas about a month ago now.
Yeah,
Mike,
just about, yeah.
yeah, Mike, our buddy Joan, and myself, we flew to Texas. We went for the Bassmaster Expo, and we did a little bit of fishing on Lake Fork. Now there is a story behind all this, and it was quite a trip, right, Mike?
It certainly was. You know what? It's one of those things that there's a lot of stories to tell in it that not necessarily all good things, but just added up to the story and really is what's going to make it a memorable trip. So no regrets for sure.
Yeah, so I got people asking me, where can I find this YouTube live? So we're on YouTube live right now. I'm gonna copy this link and I'm gonna send it to some friends right now. So Mike, if you want to start the conversation while I do this, go for it. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, for sure. So we started planning from there.
Yeah, so the plan has been there for a long time. It was in the works for the past I want to say a year and a half.
Hmm.
And we made it happen, which was great. We told them, from a few months back, we were talking like, this is how much the trip is going to cost us. This is how much the flight's going to be, hotels. We booked cars, and we had everything under control. So we thought. So
Basically, let's keep a couple things short just to get into this. Everything that I booked was a mess. Let's just put it that way. Now, on top of this, this was before we get into the story, this is my first vacation. This is my second time flying into the States. The first time was for a business trip a couple of years ago. So a little small backstory to all this and what kind of leads up to how this adventure kind of went for us.
It's all good though. It was also a bit of a learning curve for me. But let's start from the day before the trip, which was a Wednesday evening. I got off work. I drove to the carpool station to go pick you up because your wife was dropping you off, and then you got to take my car. And we drove to Joan's house. He cooked us an amazing dinner, right?
Oh, it was absolutely phenomenal, and he made this. What was the Cuban dish he made? It was plantain with, I believe, ham,
Yeah,
shaved
like a
ham on
ham
top.
salad, and made the plantain shaped into a cup with like ham salad in the inside. Yeah. Unreal.
Oh, they were just absolutely delicious. Yeah, they were like deep fried plantain with that on top. And then I'm trying to remember the main course. Now, the only reason why I don't remember is because 2 weeks before that, I was actually at his place there, staying with my daughter as she had a basketball tournament. So, which I remember he made fried pork chops for that one.
Yes.
I can't remember what was the main dish we had there.
He made this pork chop stew or something with the right. They call it congri. There's rice and beans mixed all together. It was really good.
That's right. Yeah.
But
and then his favorite smoothies too.
The famous smoothies. It blew my mind. Those smoothies are amazing. Like if he really wanted to, he would throw Orange Julius out of business right there because those smoothies were bomb.
100%.
So at that point, we had dinner. We're rigging up rods. Well, not really rigging up rods, just fixing our luggage and the tackle and all that.
Trying to figure out how to pack everything and get it down there safely.
I had more tackle than clothes, that's for sure. So my bag, I remember weighing my bag with the fish scale because there's a 50-pound limit. So I'm like, I'm holding up my bag like this. I ended up breaking the hook on my fish hook.
Yeah.
On the scale, the little hook, I broke it. And my bag was weighing 42 pounds or something? I'm like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, like you were pushing it for sure, and it's like. Yeah. By the way, we haven't gotten down there yet, and of course we're going to an expo, so
yeah. So
didn't leave much room for what we're bringing back.
No, we didn't. Which on the way back, I was really lucky. I was still underweight, but the cool thing is that we had a good night. We had a good night's sleep. The next morning, we got ready. It was all chill. Had a nice late breakfast. We head to the airport. At this point, everything was going good. We were all excited. We got comfortable seats. Like you got the first row of the plane. I was all the way in the back, and I had nobody beside me, so I had all the room in the world, and that was great.
Yeah, I had a window seat, nobody beside me. I had that, I don't know if it's the accessibility area, but I had that extra leg room. Again, this is only my second big commercial flight I'd ever been on, too. So it was a really cool experience for me because it was still new for me. Obviously, for any of you that know Nelly, like he flies all the time, multiple times a week sometimes. So
yeah, I do fly a lot for work, and then I like to take couple vacations a year. So yeah, so I am very accustomed to traveling, but yeah, we did have a nice smooth flight. A little turbulence at the end, but it was nice and comfortable.
Yeah, and which was kind of cool because the only other place I'd ever been to in the States before, by the way, we were flying into Fort Worth, was St. Louis. And it was really cool because I'm tracking the flight while we're on the plane, and I could see we're coming close to St. Louis. And I'd actually got to spend time going up into the Arch in St. Louis, if any of you guys know what that monument is there, which was a really cool experience. And I could actually see it as we were flying over St. Louis. So it was just kind of a little neat thing for me as we were doing that.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. And all right, so at this point, we land in Texas. We go to the bag checkout. Our bags are there. And then I was nervous about the fishing rods. The fishing rods were there. Everything's cool. Then, like, all right, where do we pick up our car rental? We get on the shuttle, and we go pick up the car rental. And I'm gonna tell you guys what happened from my point of view. Then Mike's gonna jump in here. We had to take like a 30-minute bus ride to the car rental building. Yeah. So it was
an airport shuttle to there. Yeah.
So we get there, and then we're standing in front of the big banner for all the car rental companies. And I asked Mike, all right, buddy, what's our car rental place? And he's like, Priceline. And I'm like, No, Priceline is a website, but what's the company? And at that point, you pull out your phone, and I see the name says CarWise, and I'm looking up and down the banner. I'm like, I don't see CarWise up here. And then you start reading through the email, right? And take it away from here.
Yeah, so I start reading through the email, and it had said airport pickup by 12 p.m. We had reached Fort Worth, I believe, around 4 a.m. or 4 p.m. that we flew in. So by the time we got to the car rental, probably 4:30, 5 o'clock. I'm looking at it, and it said pick up there, but the address was downtown Dallas. Now, again, we flew into Fort Worth, so we're talking from where the pickup address was saying was about 40, 45 minutes away, I believe. So I ended up finding somebody walking around that actually worked there, and I said, hey, do you know where CarWise is? He's like, oh, that's that place downtown Dallas. It's like, okay, well, they say good for a start. So anyways, I tried calling the number. Obviously, first thing you're going to do, call the number, figure out where the car is. Maybe they have a courtesy shuttle, something. No answer, straight to voicemail.
At that point, I was a little bit freaking out just because we were planning to go watch the hockey game. We were planning to watch the Dallas Stars. So I said to myself, okay, we need to take an Uber down to this place, pick up our car, and then go back to the stadium. So at that point, my only worry was we need to make it to the game.
Yeah. And I think what I need to add to this, too, is 2 days before the trip, I got a suspicious text message.
That's right.
So this text message 2 days before we left said, this is your Priceline. Your Priceline date is coming up soon. Unfortunately, due to March break, we don't have any vehicles for you, kind of thing. Please contact this other number now to get your money back. I assumed it was a scam. So I was kind of freaking out at first, though. Like, I messaged Nelly and okay, what do we do? So I ended up going onto the app for Priceline, which Priceline's a pretty reputable company, as far as I knew. And everything was still there. So I assumed it was just a scam. I assumed somebody got into my phone information and was just sending me this and trying to randomly send some money. So anyways, at this point, we decide, obviously, we're going to get an Uber. We need to get downtown. We need to get this car. And then Nelly had ordered the Uber, which was, I believe, $55
$50 American dollars. It was not a cheap Uber whatsoever.
$50 American dollars. Plus, we had to pay tolls.
Yeah,
I think another $10 to go through the tolls.
That was $9 USD. So yeah, so it was expensive.
So yeah, you're about $85 to $90 just for this cab to get downtown Dallas.
So, when I saw my credit card statement not the statement, I logged into my credit card to see how much it was in Canadian. The Uber ride down was $90 itself. I'm like, oh my god, that hurt.
Oh, yeah. So then, and this is how it gets worse, because we end up making this long trip, and at this point, obviously, I'm a little bit fuming. But again, maybe it was a misunderstanding. Whatever. We get to this place. There is no sign for this place. We had to double check the address to make sure we're at the right place, because it was actually it looked like a custom car detailing place or an old custom car dealer kind of thing, right?
Yeah, they had some cool cars inside. They had like a DeLorean, and they had like a T300 or something.
Yeah. So anyways, we get into this place, looking around. There's no signs on any doors or anything. So I decided to go into the other side that has this other shop in it. And our buddy Juan ends up finding a guy there who actually was running the other one. So he said, oh, you're looking for that price list. He's like, yeah, they rent a back room in this building, but they're never here. There's no signage for them, and we get people coming in here all the time that there's an issue. So we went around the side of the building. There was lock boxes on the side wall. There was a couple of cars in the driveway there. So obviously, it was somewhat of a legit place. I guess maybe he does get rid of some of them, rent them out. So then I tried calling again, straight to voicemail. This time I leave a voicemail. And within about, I'd say 2 minutes, I got the exact same text message that I'd gotten 2 days before. So basically the text message, again, stating that, contact this number. We don't have any cars for you, blah, blah, blah. Call this second number to get your money back. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. This is now from all the paperwork and everything we had done, this is the third or fourth number that's come up. So it just seems kind of scammy to me. Like we rented and I paid through Priceline. So that's what I'm going to deal with. So obviously we're fuming at this point. You guys got to remember, we have all our rod lockers with us, all our gear, our luggage and everything. We're in the middle of downtown Dallas. We have nothing. It is now, I think, 6:30 at night.
Yeah.
And our entire trip is relying on a vehicle.
And the Uber driver, he heard everything we were going through, so he didn't leave. He stayed waiting to see if we get the car, get stuff figured out, right?
Yeah, and unfortunately, if we had waited, if we had gone 20 minutes earlier, there was a couple of car rental places down the road from where we were in Dallas. Yeah, unfortunately, they had all closed by the time we realized we were been duped. So.
It was at that point the Uber driver told us, the best thing you guys can do is go back to the airport. I'll take you guys and just pay me. He told you just pay me whatever Uber charged you, and he took us back to the airport car rental building, and here's the problem. Most car rental companies, they work on bookings. If you don't have a booking, you're screwed. So I remember Budget had the longest line and it had a sign that says cars available. So we told John, go line up. Well, Mike and myself, we'll go walk around, try to find a place that has cars and fight for prices, whatever. At the same time, myself and Joanne, we're on our phone because the company we work for, they offer us discounts for car rental. So I'm trying to see if somebody has a car available right away with our employee discount, whatever. We can't get anything. Which ones did we ask? I know we asked Enterprise. We asked
Enterprise Aries.
Aries. Something like that.
Yeah.
Enterprise, Avis. The other one I can't remember the name. We asked like 5 of them in total. Nobody had cars.
They could have got us a car for the next day, but not for obviously right then and there while we're there. So
yeah. And I mean, if we didn't have any plans for the next day, that would have been fine. But we had like a fishing boat booked. We still need to get licenses. We still need to go and just do like little errands here and there before we get the trip started. So we needed a car right away.
And to a bit of an add-on to the story is, okay, we're staying in downtown Dallas. The reason why we picked that was because Fort Worth is where the expo was. I believe it's Yondis, where Lake Fork is.
Yeah.
Is about another 2 hours east of Dallas. So we needed a vehicle. There was no choice. So we were planning on getting up at 4:00 in the morning so we could head to Lake Fork in the morning.
So finally, after we asked all these places if they have cars, we see that Joan is the next one up in the budget line, and he's telling me, "Oh, look at your employee profile. There's a car available for tomorrow for like $400." The issue was like Mike just said, we needed a car right away. So we get to the counter, and the first thing you told him, right? I'm like, "Look, buddy, we just got ripped off by a car rental company. We need a car like right now."
Yeah.
And then
it was actually a gentleman named Nick.
Yeah.
So if any of you are ever in Fort Worth and you go to Budget, go talk to Nick because he was a lifesaver.
He was really nice. They didn't have any sedans for like a sedan price. They ended up giving us a small SUV, a Volvo, which is actually a really nice car.
Very nice, actually.
He got us into the Volvo. He got us checked out right away. I mean, it was a little more expensive than we wanted to pay, but at this point, we just needed a car.
We ended up being almost triple of what we originally got the first car for. But at the same time, we're down there. There's not much we can do now. Like, this is last minute, and at least we have some wheels to get around.
Yeah. And now you had to deal with trying to get a refund for the other car that we still don't know if it's a legitimate company or not, right? So it was a big pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
But that was crazy. I mean, at this point, I could see the look on your face, and you were not happy.
No, I was definitely not happy. There's definitely one thing I don't like is to get scammed. I'm sure nobody does.
No,
but
especially because it was under your credit card too, right?
Yeah, and I'd already paid for it for what 3 months, almost 4 months.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I was pretty upset myself. Like I was trying to keep composure and not freak out too much, but I was pretty bummed out. I was very upset about the whole thing going down. Yeah. And then at that point, what time was it? It was like 8 o'clock at that point, right?
Yeah, we're probably around 8 o'clock, and again, the game had started I think at 7, and we still needed to hit up academy or something like that in order to get our fishing licenses for the next day too. So by this point, just being mad and a little bit tired from traveling too,
Yeah.
we ended up finding an academy. We went and got our fishing licenses. I think we picked up a few little goodies too. I picked up a cooler bag for the boat and stuff like that. And then Nelly had the great idea to go find some authentic Mexican food.
Some tacos, not Taco Bell.
Yeah, not Taco Bell, some real stuff in a really sketchy part of town. Like
Yeah.
you need eyes in the back of your head kind of thing, but the food was amazing.
That was downtown Dallas for sure. Like, that was the part of downtown your parents tell you not to go to.
Oh yeah, there was I was kind of worried. Like we just got this car, and like I'm worried that someone's going to start jacking our car here. Like it's that bad.
No, that's why I didn't want to park across the street either. I wanted to stay behind the restaurant in an alley. But the food was really good. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was definitely a different. I've never seen anybody cook like that before, like having plastic on the grill and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, the food was amazing. So,
But yeah, so at this point we're tired. We were. I mean, the crankiness. Like I was in a bad mood. It kind of just like drifted away because like okay, the trip is. Let's get this trip started. Right? Let's get this rolling. We have a car. We have food in our stomach. We have fishing license. We bought tackle. You know, we just gotta go check into the hotel at this point, right?
yeah.
So we get to the hotel. Everything's good. We check in. We go to sleep. The next day we woke up 4 or 5 a.m. or something.
Yeah, I think it was 3:30. We ended up waking up. Yeah, just to get extra early because we wanted to stop for food and make sure there's no issues getting there.
Yeah, so we drove. Lake Fork was about an hour 45 from the hotel. So we drove to Lake Fork boat rental. We were supposed to be there. What time was the boat pickup? 8 a.m.
Boat pickup was 8 a.m. Yeah, so we actually arrived, I believe, 10 minutes early.
So and this is where it also gets interesting again. This is what I'm telling you guys. This trip had ups and downs, and this is another down. We show up at 7:50 to the boat rental place. The office is closed. We're like, all right. They said 8 o'clock. We'll wait to 8 o'clock, right?
Now, there was also a father and son waiting. So we knew we weren't being duped on this one, but somebody wasn't there yet.
Yeah. And he told us that he's rented from that place the previous years, so he was a frequent customer, right? He's been there a couple times. But he told me, yeah, I've been here since, I think it said 7:30 or something.
Yeah, 7, yeah.
And with nobody showing up. It's 8:10 a.m. and nobody has shown up to the office. Right? So we're all just like, okay, what's going on? I think you called them once and it went to voicemail, right?
Yeah, tried to call once and went to voicemail. And like we kind of looked around like hopefully we're going to put a little bit of footage together for you guys to check out on a later date. But just kind of the setup that was there and stuff was neat. There was a couple of really cool things they had just around the building and stuff. But
Yeah.
I think about another hour went by before you had the brighter idea.
I had the bright idea to trespass. We got some guys in the chat here. Tyler, what's up, Tyler? We got Gandhi and Rick. Is that Rick Dorr? I'm not sure. Can't tell by the picture right now. But hey, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. So, back to the story. I think it was 9 a.m. at this point, and nobody has shown up. And I'm looking at this place, right? And if you could picture, it's a small little house at the front side of the property. Behind the property, it's like a shop with like 5 bays. So like there's 1 bay, 2 bay, 3 bay, like all together. There's boats in all the bays. I see a trouble light on the floor. I see tools all over the floor. So I'm like, let me go investigate. So I walk back to the shop, and it looks like somebody has been working. You know, tools are on the floor, the lights are on, the trouble lights are on, the radio's on with the low volume. I keep on walking. I see a house in the back of the property. I walk to the house, and the house is a disaster. Like they're renovating. I don't know. So I'm like, okay, there's nobody here. But behind the house, there was a trailer. There was a travel trailer. And I said to myself, I wonder if somebody's living there. And then when I notice the power cables, I'm like, yeah, someone's in it for sure. Go knock on the door. The dog starts going crazy. I'm like, yeah, there's somebody in there. Then this lady comes out. The look on her face. It looks like she's only been sleeping for 2 hours. She's like, can I help you? And I'm like, yeah, we're here for the boat rental. Oh, what time is it? Oh, I'm sorry, it's 9 a.m. I'm like, yeah, we've been here since 7:30. So that's when they kind of started getting ready. Now the guys that were there before us, it was fast because they were towing the boat themselves, right? So they just hooked the boat to the trailer hitch and they drove off. For us, it was a little longer. She had to do paperwork and take payment and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
tell them what happened next, Mike.
Yeah. So basically at this point, she's now kind of awake. We're in there. Obviously, the guys were there before us, so it was like, yeah, deal with them first, get them ready. But again, this takes about another 45 minutes. By the time you sign paperwork, they hook up the boat and everything, go over everything, and then they're good. So we're probably 9:45 by this point. Now it's our turn. We had rented a 17-foot bass boat. Now, backstory to that, again, I was in charge of the boat rental, along with the car rental. I had emailed them back in January. And I said, hey, we're looking at 4 of us coming down. Only 3 of us ended up going down, unfortunately. So they said, yeah, a 17-foot bass boat. You guys would be good to go. So she kind of comes up to us and said, well, there's 3 of you. I was like, yeah, I said there was going to be 4. Now there's only 3 of us. Well, I can't let you take the 17-footer out in this wind. Like it's too small for 3 of you. I was like, well, this at this point I'm kind of laughing because I'm already mad about the rental still, and now I'm mad that someone's telling me there's something else I can't have.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So then we just let her know what was going on with the car rental and everything else too. You know, we've already been scammed by the car rental. You know, we've made it here. We just traveled almost 2 hours from our hotel to come here. So after about 5 or 10 minutes, they decide they were going to give us a pontoon boat for the day instead. For the same price, we're going to pay for the 17. But we were also fishing the Monday. So this is on the Friday. And she said, well, we can get you the 19-foot bass boat for Monday, but it's going to be an upgraded charge, which was minimal. I think it was an extra $120 or something, I believe. It wasn't too much more. Still, again, another unexpected expense. So we decided, obviously, we're here now. This is what we have to do. So we're going to do the pontoon boat. So we go outside. The very first pontoon boat won't start. The second pontoon boat...
You can only laugh about it now.
Yeah, 100%. The second pontoon boat, the trolley motor didn't work. The third pontoon boat, it tried to start over, but it was just the main battery that was dead. It's like, okay, no problem. They got a new battery. They put it on. Now off we're finally going. Now at this point, I think we're 10:30.
Yeah.
Probably around 10:30. We're just heading to the lake, which isn't far. It's about 5 minutes down the road. So then we get down there, we load up all our stuff, put it on the boat, we launch, and now we are like beyond ecstatic. It's just after 11, I think, at this point.
We're on Lake Fork. I'm ready to go fishing.
You know? We are on a dream lake, a bucket list lake, and we're excited. So with Nelly at the helm, we start backing out of this bay, and I had brought some cheaper rods down with me for the trip, planning on buying some new ones. Buying some new rods while I was down at the expo. So it was actually my very first bait casting rod I'd ever bought. It was a 2-piece. I used it for years, no issues. I had re-spooled my reel the night before, and I was like, okay, I'm going to tighten up the line a little bit. So as Nelly's heading out of the bay, very first cast, the rod snaps right in half. Like clean snap. Like I thought that just the 2 pieces came apart for a second. No, she just cleanly snapped right in my hand.
I remember the look on your face, like, what just happened?
So at this point, obviously, I know I'm cursed. So yeah, no big deal. Luckily, I did have a spinning rod. It was, I think it was an ultralight or something I borrowed from Juan. But you know what? We're going fishing. We're here. Let's do this. So then we kind of get out. Again, we're 70-kilometer-an-hour gusts, I believe we were having.
It was windy. It was crazy windy. It was incredibly windy.
Absolutely insane. And of course, we're in a pontoon boat, and we have I think the first pontoon boat he gave us had a 30-pound thrust trolling motor, tiller style.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get used to it. Like there's the navigable arrow on top of it, and it was backwards to it. So we're just trying to get used to how to handle it. So we kind of ducked into the next bay, and we're trying to get used to it. And I think we started getting the hang of it a bit.
Yeah, we got the hang of it a little bit, but then what didn't help us is I know Lake Fork has a lot of wood, a lot of tree stumps, but the amount of time that we snagged on tree stumps was crazy.
There was
So many tree stumps.
So many trees. Because and for those of you that don't know Lake Fork, so basically, I believe it was back in the '80s, they turned it into a reservoir, and basically they flooded all this land, and all those trees and everything were there, and so that's what you're fishing. You're literally fishing a forest. It's underwater forest, so which is a very cool experience. So I think we're about maybe an hour in trying to fish around that bay, right?
Yeah.
About that. And we're finally getting the hang of this trolling motor, and all of a sudden it's kind of dying on me a bit, and I could smell a little bit of burning.
I remember just smelling like, kind of smells like electrical fire.
And I look down, and the trolling motor wire on the floor of the pontoon boat is smoking. And all of a sudden, I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure it was Juan that said, Michael, the boat, she's on fire.
He's like, the battery's smoking. I'm in the middle of the boat, and I turn around like, huh? Did I see Mike just right in front of me? And the battery is smoking like crazy.
Like, it is beyond, like, this thing looks like it's about to explode. I reach down, I grab the neutral, like the wires are melting. I grab the neutral and I rip it off the battery. Like all the casing melted in my hand. Like, anyways, got that.
It was bad. Disconnected. It was bad.
Oh, so then obviously, okay, well, we got to call the guy. Like, now we don't have a trolling motor. It's bad enough being in a pontoon boat. So we call him and he tells us, hey, just tie up to a tree for now. Fish while you can. I'll try to get one of the other trolling motors onto one of the other boats and bring it down to you as soon as I can. Obviously, not completely this guy's fault.
No.
But he's trying to help us anyways through this ordeal. It was one thing piling on us. So another little tidbit to this, we decided to, after trying to fight the wind and stuff, which is the main motor, we were just going to go back in the bay till we got our new boat and bank fish for a little bit. So on my way down to the airport the day before, I had bought a couple of new pairs of shoes and something comfortable for the trip.
They were nice shoes.
So anyways, they were nice shoes. Thank you. So anyway,
just pay attention to how I said that. They were nice shoes.
They were nice shoes. So I decided I'm going to go bank fish. So I hop onto the dock, and I had to jump down maybe about 3 feet down to the rock so I can get to the bank. I go to do that, and there's a nail sticking up in the dock. It grabs the toe of my shoe, rips it wide open, and I almost face plant right into the rocks down below. I am officially cursed for this trip, but at this point, I am laughing so hard, I'm about to wet myself because what else is going to go wrong here?
No.
So, anyways,
we were there for a while waiting. You guys were bank fishing, like you and Joanne were bank fishing. I stayed back on the boat, just chilling back, and I'm like, I wasn't really having it at that moment. I wasn't feeling it. Everything has gone. Everything that could go bad went bad.
Yeah.
So I just needed a little cool down time. I needed some cool down time, so I stayed back in the boat.
Because you literally have all these thoughts in your head on how this trip's going to go and how you want it to go, and it's again it literally got to the point where everything was just funny and we were just waiting to see what was going to happen next. So
yeah.
So next boat comes. It's a little bit bigger, trolling motor on it too, which was a little nicer. He launches it. We switch everything over, and he said, "Okay, you're good to go." We go to pull up the trolling motor. The wire pulls out of the head of the trolling motor.
Yeah. Right away, the second boat broke on us. Right away.
Second boat broke just right away. So anyways, no big deal. It's about another half an hour anyways for him to fix it, but then finally off we went. Also, the boat was supposed to be back by 5. Well, we're probably about 1:30 now, I think. 1:30, 1:45.
Yeah.
And he said, you guys, there's lights on the boats. There's a lot of docks around here with lights on them. Stay out as late as you want, fish as long as you want, and just park the boat and leave. Which was nice. Like, again, he should have done something for sure. So it was nice enough that they did that.
100%.
Yeah. So I think it was literally about 2:00 in the afternoon before we finally, I would say, was able to start fishing.
It's insane when you think about it that way, because we got to the boat rental at 8 a.m. We weren't actually fishing, like worry-free fishing until 2 p.m. Mm-hmm. So much time got wasted. At the same time, like you said, it was nice of him to say, "Okay, guys, keep the boat as long as you want, right? We'll just leave it at the dock when you're finished, whatever." So that was it was nice of them.
Yeah, for sure. Like it again, like companies have issues and stuff like that. Rental places have issues. Like it is what it is. This was the only place on Lake Fork. So for somebody to actually go out of their way on a lake that you're guaranteed your boat's getting wrecked in some way or another while you
Yeah,
go out there.
yeah, true.
Like if you don't know how to navigate those waters, you're taking a prop or something out. So I think he's got a great little business there, and they were super nice people for sure.
One of the crazy things about Lake Fork, and it was a little nerve wracking when navigating through the waters. Before in the past, I've only seen it, during the tournaments, the Bassmasters when they do the live broadcast and all that. You see the trees sticking out of the water, so you assume that you're not in that deep of water. It's probably like, I don't know, 5 feet maybe. And then when I got there, I noticed, wait a second, these trees that are sticking out of the water, they're in 20 feet. These trees are tall, man.
Yeah.
And then when you navigate through the water, all of a sudden you see like, just, what do you call them? Deadheads? Just a few little stumps
Deadheads,
sticking
yeah.
out, and they only pop out because the water's moving up and down. And I'm like, oh man, like you could hit a boat, a proper motor, no problem.
It's funny because if when I go to make this video, I was going over some footage there yesterday, and one of the things as soon as we got to the boat rental place that morning, and I forgot we said this, was we were so excited when we saw this beat up bass boat because that was the first thought in our head, like we don't have to worry about scratching this thing.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. But we at this point, yeah. So we're on the new pontoon. Everything's going good. It was a little cleaner. We thought, and this is gonna be a note for later. We thought we transferred everything over from the old boat to the new boat, and then so we're fishing, right? Obviously, it's a pattern that we never fished before. We never really fished for bedding largies. We knew they were on beds because we heard people tell us, "Oh, the largies are on beds," but we don't ever fish for larges on beds here in Ontario. Now, mind you, I know that we do the kayak tournaments and the OKBT does take us to Lake Nipissing in May, and we do fish for bedding fish, but they're smallies. Bedding smallies and bedding largies, it's a different game. They react different. Like smallies usually attack and they're ready to destroy anything. The largies, mind you, the largies in Texas, the ones we saw in beds, they weren't having it.
Yeah, they just didn't seem quite ready for it. Like we definitely found some, and we tried our best to kind of flip some smaller stuff in there and try to get them interested, but they just swim off. Like not even quickly or anything. They just kind of swim out. They do probably, I don't know, an 8-foot circle, and then come back to their bed. So it was more like we were disturbing them. So whether they were actually guarding anything yet, or if they were just still prepping the beds, I'm not sure.
No, we did have a few things working against us. Obviously, in this, I say this because I remember observing the other guy that was fishing beds. He would come up right tight against the shoreline, flip into the bushes, and these bushes are deep in the shoreline, right? But he would power pull down, so he wasn't moving. We were fighting the wind and everything. So if we get to a spot and you want to flip to a bed, within 15 seconds, the wind had us out of there. So we had to come roll back in and put ourselves back in spot. So that was a bit of a challenge, right?
Yeah, and another caveat to that, like there was no anchors or anything aboard. Like it's not like we could have just thrown down an anchor on either corner and said, okay, we'll stay here for a bit.
Yeah. So that was challenging. I think in the first bay we hit, I managed to catch that one small one.
Right near that fence line.
Yeah, right by the fence line. It was like, I don't know, maybe not even 2 pounds, maybe, or maybe a 2-pounder at least.
That was the one with Juan's camera work where it was kind of half pointed at his face instead of what was going on. I just reviewed that last night.
Let's pretend there's a camera on here, right? Let's pretend the camera's like this, and then Mike, I hook on the fish, and Mike tells Juan, here, gives him the camera pole, record this. Well, he goes and grabs a camera pole and does this, holds it side so that camera's pointing the other way, but he's looking at me like this. And I'm like, well, but you didn't record anything.
The footage is kind of great because, like, in the back corner of that footage, you can see Juan's face and like his smiling reaction because he's so happy you're catching the fish. Like, it's like the most smile I've seen out of him this whole trip so far.
Oh man, I think, and then you turn around like, where are you putting the camera to? He's like, that was too funny.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's definitely he's fired for being the cameraman for sure.
No, and then I think Did he catch one after that? A little bit after that? Like maybe I'd say a little bit, but it was probably like an hour later.
Yeah, it was about an hour later, and we had come out. I think it was near that bridge.
Yeah.
So we came out of the one pocket, we went around the point, and then we started going under the bridge into another bay. And I think you had caught another one from there, from that bridge first. Yeah.
And it's interesting, if you've never been to Lake Fork, and something I did find interesting, these bridges that cross the lake, right under them, well, there's hundreds and hundreds of these bird nests. And not only that, you see rope just tied up to the bridge and hanging. And at first I was like, oh, why is all this rope here? And then Wong made a joke. Oh, this is for me. And, I don't want to do it on camera or say it, but it was a joke, right? And then later on, somebody told us that these bridges are famous crappie spots. And people tie those ropes to the bridge because they tie their boats onto those ropes so they stay in spot, right? Yeah. So people stay there for a while fishing for crappie. And there were a lot of boats on that bridge.
Yeah. And these birds' nests, too, that are on this bridge, it was kind of amazing. I'm not even sure what kind of birds they were, a type of swallow or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But these birds' nests, they look like beehives.
Yeah, it was interesting.
They were like horizontal beehives that they're living in. Like they made themselves, obviously, out of whatever they're chewing. But it was crazy. And hundreds and hundreds of these things, for sure.
So, at least the rest of the day, it went fine. It was your normal day of fishing, trying to find a pattern and all that. We ended up catching another 2 fish or so. Nothing big. It wasn't the 10-pounder that you expect from Lake Fork. But at the same time, we just spent the last 6 months hunkered down in our homes in Canada from the winter and snowstorms and all that. So it did feel good to be out in the water, that's for sure.
Definitely, 100%. So then we ended up fishing kind of till dark, and we loaded up. I think we stayed till about 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we stayed until sunset, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
and it was crazy because we were fighting 70-kilometer-hour gusts all day, and I think it was the last hour and a half, the lake was dead calm.
The lake was glass at the end.
It was glass right at the end. I'm like,
how come we couldn't get this before?
Yeah. So then we load up. We're exhausted, like just mentally, physically. Like there's just been so much that's happened over the last couple of days already. We load everything up. We head back to the hotel, and by this point, I think we're 11:30.
It was late, yeah.
Yeah.
Because side note, before you say what you're gonna say, because I know what's coming, we did meet up with the boys that went down there for the Ontario Kayak Bassmasters, and the 5 guys that qualified for the Kayak Bassmasters National, they just finished their tournament on Lake Fork. So let me see if I remember everybody's name. Obviously, Chris Tosco, Shane Fernandez, Antoine, Gord Schreederman, and I'm forgetting one. Oh, Ryan Tyler. So we knew they're in the area. They're renting a cabin right on the lake. So I called Chris. I'm like, hey, what are you guys up to, whatever? And then let's meet up. So we ended up meeting up at Sonic's, and we had some burgers and shakes, which is a really good shake too, and burger.
If you've never been to Sonic's, go to Sonic's because that was pretty cool.
It was really good. So, and we just just chit chatting. We probably spent like another hour or so, or a little more, talking to them,
something like that,
sharing and fishing stories and all that.
Before you end that too, I just want to say to those guys that were in that tournament, that made that trip, that fought the weather they did. Like obviously, for any of those of you that followed it, the first day was canceled, and they had one day, I believe it was a 14-hour day, 12 or 14 hour day.
I think it was a 12-hour day
that they had to fish and go through those conditions. Like, congratulations, guys, for what you did and what you were able to do. Like, there was some big fish that really came out of that water that day, and it was great to be able to go down there and share a little bit of that experience with you and be down there with you guys. So it was.
Yeah, no, that's something that it would be cool to one day qualify to one of those tournaments, because it takes a lot, it takes a lot just to fish them, and the qualifying tournament is never easy, because some of the best sticks in the province always fish that thing. But then making a trip down to the USA, that's something, man. Then imagine making it on the stage for the top 10.
Oh, dream come true for sure.
Yeah. Which another little side note to this, one thing I was disappointed about the whole Bassmaster scene So I know the money comes probably from the boats and the boaters are the big stars. I get it. But there was no marketing or there was no promoting for the kayak scene. Like when you
Yeah.
walk in the expo, there's the Bassmaster live screen showing all the boaters, and it's cool. Like I know that's what it's all about, but it would be nice to see a little bit of more love and a little bit of more video footage to be shared for the kayakers.
Yeah, like if you're trying to like it's the fastest growing sport there is right now, like realistically. And if you're not taking the time and spending the money to get it out there even more, like how can you want it to be successful?
Yeah.
Like I remember the very first year that Bassmasters did this, and they did have the guys up on stage. And as soon as the guys were about to leave stage, they said, "Okay, now it's time to bring the real fishermen up here," or
Oh.
something along those
Oh
lines.
wow.
Yeah, so I think that's something obviously they regret saying, and I think they're starting to do a little bit more. But again, yeah, like the money's got to come from somewhere. But there's so many great sponsors out there. I know with the OKBT alone, like we get such amazing sponsors. I don't think it's hard to do
Yeah.
for especially a big organization like that. So yeah, definitely spending some more time and investing more in that kayak series, I think is justifiable for sure.
Yeah, it would be nice to see. But anyway, let's get back to our story. So we finished fishing. We had dinner at Sonic's. We met up with the guys. We would get back to the hotel. It was almost midnight. And what is the question that you asked us when we were getting out of the car?
Did any of you guys remember grabbing my camera gear?
At that point, at that point, my heart just sunk, and I'm like, "Oh no, we lost."
And the best part is, I kind of said it with a smile because now I'm expecting stuff to go wrong. Like, now again, I was not in panic mode yet because we were going back on Monday to fish. So I figured, okay, it's too late to call them now. I'll give them a call in the morning and say, hey, can you grab it, put it aside? We'll pick it up on Monday. That was kind of it. Like, it was like, you know what, boys, let's go to bed. Let's go relax. We got the expo tomorrow. Let's sleep in a little bit. There's no rush for anything. So I think we did. I think we slept until whatever 8 o'clock or something. For
Yeah,
fishermen,
because
that's
I
pretty
know
late.
the doors for the expo. I believe they open at 9, so
Oh,
we
okay.
weren't in a huge rush to get there. I think we did. Was it you who requested to go to IHOP, or was
I
it me?
did request to go to IHOPs because I wanted to try it. I remember I wanted to try it years ago when I went to Niagara Falls, and the prices were absolutely ridiculous.
No,
So
no,
I was
you,
like,
you
maybe.
never want to go to the Niagara Falls IHOP. No, it's a
So
hard pass.
yeah, which actually I'm going to Niagara Falls here in a couple of weeks, so I'm going to probably pass on IHOPs, but it was definitely cheaper down there for sure. Not much, but
Yeah,
it was cheaper.
yeah, it was good though. You can always
Yeah,
enjoy the IHOP pancakes. So yeah, we had breakfast, and surprisingly, when we got to the expo, like we drove down downtown Dallas, parking was easy to find. The
very,
streets were
very.
not busy. It's not like downtown Toronto where the streets are busy and the streets are dirty.
I'm still trying to figure out where all the other people were parked. Like you're talking an
Yeah,
event that has thousands of people in it, and like the streets were almost bare, and there was plenty of places to park.
and I was really surprised how clean Dallas keeps their streets of downtown. That was really
Definitely,
clean.
yeah,
But yeah, Toronto needs to work on that a little bit. But yeah, we found parking no problem. It was cheap. It was like $9 or something.
yeah. I think it was $6 American or whatever, something like that. Super cheap.
And then when we get into the expo arena, it was like just like I was like, whoa, it was huge. The first person we bump into as soon as we walk in, this guy was going crazy over.
My face was beat red. I was so excited because I had three people in mind that I needed to meet at this expo. That was my goal to meet. One of them being Mike Iaconelli,
Yeah,
um, one of them being Chad Hoover, and one of them being Christine Fisher.
yeah,
So as soon as we walk in, well, the very first thing we see actually is the Bassmaster trophy. So of course we got our pictures taken with the trophy and stuff like that. Fantastic. We kind of make the corner, and there's Christine Fisher up on stage. They're just finishing a seminar, and the lady down in the audience with the microphone, she's like, like I said, it must have just ended. She's like, does anybody have questions for any of these ladies? And nobody's asking. I was like, I go running up to her. I was like, I got a question for Christine, and like my head was all over the place. I was so nervous. I was shaking inside, which was hilarious. It was like super celebrity status here for a fisherman. And so I was like, how did it feel catching that 8-pounder yesterday? And it was actually 2 days before that during practice or something. But anyways, I was just all messed up. She goes into this long story, and I thank God Nelly filmed it because I have no idea what she said the whole time. I'm
Yes.
just staring up on stage and like she's talking about how the fish came out. So anyways, so she kind of said this 5-minute story, which was great. And she's like, "Do you have another question?" I was like, "Can I get my picture taken with you?" So, anyway, she was super nice. Went up on stage, got my picture taken with her and stuff. Which wish I would have got a little more clearer one, but
Yeah, I know.
no, it was just awesome. It was so cool to walk into the event, and out of the hundreds and hundreds of fishermen and stuff that were there, seeing one of the top ones I wanted to see right off the bat which was awesome.
Yeah, no, that was really cool. I mean, I took hundreds of pictures of that expo. We walked up and down those aisles, and it feels like every time we walk down an aisle, we're seeing something new. I'm like, wait, did we see this last time? Did we see that? We already walked in here. Did we see it? It was cool. We got to see a couple new features, a couple new products. We met Chad Hoover also almost right away, which was pretty cool. And I asked him a little favor. I'm like, Chad, I need you to give a shout out to a friend of mine. He says he knows you personally. His name is Jay, whatever, and then which they do. So I sent him a quick video clip, and Jay was all happy to see that because they've been last time they were together was about a year ago and working an expo together. And then yeah, they were really cool about it. The one thing that was really nice about this expo is that no matter who you talk to, the pros, the vendors, anybody, they all took their time to talk to you. And it didn't feel like it was forced. Would you agree with that?
Nothing was forced. Nothing was like. I think we were very lucky in the sense that most of the people we met were by coincidence. We weren't waiting in those long lines and stuff. We just kind of, for a lot of the times, just randomly bumped into these people, or were lucky enough to come into the situation at the very beginning of them coming out. So, and again, yes, like you said, every single one of them was so genuine. Took their time. There was no rushed feeling about anything. Shared conversation, shared tips. Like it was an amazing experience. It really was.
I think the only one we really had to wait in line for was Jacob Wheeler. We waited a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't even that long. I think it was only like it was the first day was a super long line for him.
Yeah.
That we were just trying to get pictures. It was day 2 that we were lucky enough, I think, to be the third or fourth person in line.
And then at Canelli, there's only like 2 people ahead of us, and then Juan lost his mind.
Oh my goodness,
he was fanboying like crazy.
I have to say, Mike Iaconelli is probably one of the most genuine people you'd ever meet in your life. Like very sincere feeling. Like he talked to you like you guys have been friends for years.
Yeah, he was really cool. He was really nice to talk to. Yeah, and then Juan was over the moon. He showed him his video. So Joan won a Bassmaster kayak tournament last year on Lake Seymour, and if you've ever fished close to Joan or in the same vicinity, you're gonna hear him across the lake if he catches a fish, because he will catch a 16-incher, and he's yelling, "Oh my god! Oh my god! I got a big one! I got a big one!" And everybody hears him. So anyway, in this tournament on Lake Seymour last year, he caught a 20-inch largie. And he was losing his mind to the point that the cottagers came out because they thought that something was wrong with somebody. So anyway, he got that on video. And he was showing to Mike Iaconelli, and Mike was loving it. He's like, "Oh my god, yeah, I go crazy too."
Yeah.
It was cool.
Like, that's exactly why I do this too. That's perfect. Yeah. It's like, you are 2.0 me. He's like, what did he say to him? He's like, if I ever need a stunt double, you're going to be my stunt double.
Yeah, I think there's a little height difference there, but yeah, I think it's cool. Just put the camera further away and it'll be fine.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
who else did we meet? We met Seth.
Yeah, we met Seth. We met Scott Canterbury, Roland Martin, which is actually I was really happy to meet Roland Martin. He was a little busy though, so it was very rushed when he was there. Yeah. Jimmy Houston. And what's the other fella's name? I can't believe Bill Dance. I can't believe I forgot his name.
Bill Dance. Yeah, we didn't get to meet him, but we did see him.
Yeah.
His lineup was
massive. And then somebody that I did see over there, and somebody that I've been following for a while, and I really like his content and just his personality, the way he portrays himself, who I feel is very genuine, was Oliver Nye from Big Bass Dreams. And the coolest thing is that I knew he was there. as soon as he saw me, like he turns around and he sees me walking down the aisle, he says, "Canada in the house!" Like he recognized me right away because a few years back when he came here, I spent like 2 hours just talking fishing with him, and he remembers me since then. So that was pretty cool.
And like this isn't even the first time. So like we're walking around this expo, and I think it was 4 or 5 different times where people are recognizing Nelly. Like, I feel like I'm walking around with a celebrity. Like, oh yeah, I'm pretty cool too. Like,
yeah. No, that did catch me a little off guard. Some people were like, "Hey, what's up, Nelly?" I'm like, "Oh shit, cool."
Yeah.
Sorry for
that was really cool.
I usually don't swear in videos.
We're in a completely other country, and people are recognizing Nelly. So
yeah, we saw. Cool. What else did I see there? Oh, I saw from like Canadians. We saw Jasper from Pro Jays. He was walking around. Tim Percy was there with Rich Offner. So obviously we know them from a tournament series. We fished with them before, and yeah, they were walking around. So that was cool. What other Canadian?
I think that was it for Canadians, but your celebrity crush was there. We saw on the last day that we waited around for.
Who are you talking about? Gene Jensen?
Yeah.
No, yeah, it was cool to meet Gene Jensen when I saw that his kayak was at the expo, and he had the check on it because he had finished in 5th place.
Yeah, I actually got to sit in Gene Jensen's personal kayak.
You did. Cool. That was pretty cool. They told you to climb up, and the stand holds a lot of weight, so yeah, we're good. But yeah, it was
really cool because I wanted to go upstairs again. This is day 2 of the expo, and I mean, you could spend days in there, days. Yeah. And I could see Nelly really was hoping to meet Gene Jensen, so we kind of hung around that Bonafide exhibition for a little longer there.
Yeah.
And I could see one of the guys because we'd been waiting for about 20 minutes. I could tell Nelly's really hoping this guy's going to come out. So I saw him go around the corner and call him. I was like, okay, and now he's on his way now. And then as soon as I saw him coming through the doors there, Nelly's face just lights up. So
yeah, that was cool. I got him to do a little video for my Instagram, so I posted that. But
and if you guys haven't followed Gene Jensen for a while, like very informative. Like I followed him back in his bass boat days.
Yeah.
Apparently he's completely out of that now. And just to see his personal transformation too was insane. Like I think he had lost 150 pounds or something like that too.
Yeah, it was huge. Like he's looking very rejuvenated.
Yeah, healthy and rejuvenated and like just loving life, which is fantastic. So
then
again, another fairly genuine person, which was really nice. So
Alex Fishing.
Yeah,
he was
Alex
funny.
Fishing.
Yeah, he was bashing my hobby. No, he's a cool guy. I like watching his stuff. Like he does make it's a little controversial when you start, criticizing something that other people love. But, like example, I do love my hobby. I love fishing on a hobby. I don't see myself fishing off another kayak. But there are kayaks out there that I have looked at and said, "Oh man, like, you know what? I could rock that." Like the Bonafide XTR is a kayak that I could probably rock, and it looks like a good platform. Even the Old Town Autopilot is another kayak that I would consider getting as well, but.
I was looking at that other new one too, the Wilderness one.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the XTR.
It's almost like the XTR. You got this huge platform where you could throw a dance party on it, right? It's massive.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I think is great. Is are we kind of pushing boundaries at this point? It's a completely different topic, but yeah, they're getting pretty cool.
Yeah. So we did the expo. We went for the 2 days. We did a lot of walking, and like I said before. We walked up and down those aisles a couple times, and it felt like we saw new things on day 2, right?
Yeah.
And I actually have a little show and tell here. I should have warned you about this, Mike. I got a few products here I want to show that I found at the expo that were pretty cool.
Okay.
Let's see if the camera can pick this up. So look at this. This is a rabbit baits. So these baits have little rabbit hair here. So it's a worm with rabbit hair. So, almost like, I'm guessing it's going to have the effect like what a marabou does, right? So, these are the cool finds at the expo.
I remember seeing those, and Nelly was out. I think you were looking at the Old Town kayaks upstairs, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like waving at him, like, you got to get over here.
So this company, Decathlon, I've heard that we have a few of these stores here in Canada. I have not seen this store. Apparently, there's one close to where I live. Now, this is a little finesse jig. If you guys like throwing BFS, I think this little jig is going to be amazing because it weighs 1/8 of an ounce. It comes with a little BKK hook. and it's a nice little finesse jig, but also from this company, the soft plastic the hollow body frog. You were the one who called me over to show me this frog. I should have taken it out of the package over here. Because the design of this frog seems very unique compared to other frogs we've seen on the market, right?
Yeah, and that's what I really want to see, what kind of action it's really going to have on top of the water.
Yeah. I just ripped the package because I want to show you guys. So yeah, here it probably looks like any regular frog with the legs. Very soft body, up and down, side to side. So you can see it's probably going to have a really good hookup ratio. The one thing I found interesting in the belly, it has this little lip here, right?
Try to back your hand behind it there. It's kind of shining off. There we go.
Is that better?
A little bit.
So it has that little lip. I'm really curious to see what kind of action that lip is going to give this frog. That's going to be very interesting to see. So yeah, this brand Decathlon, again, there are stores here in Ontario. I think they are actually French. I did hear there's a few stores in Quebec. I did not see a fishing section on the store for the Canadian section. If you search up the part numbers, they come up, but I don't see it. I don't see a fishing section in the decathlon.ca website, so I don't know if they're going to be adding fishing section to the actual stores that are here in Ontario. We'll keep an eye on that. But
yeah, like all their products look amazing. I kind of regret not picking any of them up myself, but I had given myself a budget for the trip, and I had already spent it. So
yeah, we blew that budget right out the window. What was another cool product we saw at the expo? I don't have it here with me right now. Was the Braid X or X Braid?
Yes, and I just actually finished spooling the rest of mine up, and I think I just threw the package out. But yeah, it's the new X Braid Finesse, so it's 0.0006 inches thick, but it's still an 8 braid, and unbelievably smooth. I had actually picked up a BFS setup at the expo, and on the Monday when we went fishing, got to try it out, and oh my goodness, I was casting easy 60 yards, with a 1/8 ounce lure, and it was just beautifully smooth. It's an amazing fishing line, and I don't know if the Finesse is out yet or if that was just kind of a nice thing for the expo for us, but
yeah, the guy working the booth, he was Canadian as well. When we told him we came from Canada, he's like, just because you guys are Canadian, I'm supposed to give you a sample, but I'm going to give you a full spool or something like that. I was like, oh, great, thanks, man. But that X Braid Finesse was cool because it's a braid, but it sinks. And you get a nice, fine, slick braid that sinks. So it's going to be cool for the BFS. From what he told me, that same company is a company that makes the braid for Daiwa. So
yeah, because on the back of the box I was reading, it was saying Daiwa Corporation. So.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And then what's another cool product? Oh, so Booyah had these jerk baits, new to the market. You get a little bit of too much glare. They call it, what do they call it? The flash, the jerk bait flash, suspending SB jerk bait point flash. So here on the head, I know it's gonna be hard to see, they put a blade, like a willow blade, in the head, just so it create some flash in the water. So
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to try out.
Oh,
so they just embedded a blade into the head. That's pretty interesting.
Gonna get that. So what is that, like a 5-foot diver? That one?
No, I think this is just a normal 3-foot. Yeah.
Okay, which is good. It's gonna pick up more of that sunlight, right? Get that a lot of flash going.
So that's gonna be pretty cool to see how that works. And then one of the coolest deals we found was a G-Crack booth. So you can buy tickets from the G-Crack booth, and then you spin a little wheel, almost like a little bingo wheel, right? And then the little balls come out that are color coded, and depending on the color is the prize you win. So one of the prizes I won was those little fuzzy dice things, right? The other one, which was pretty interesting, you get an empty Ziploc bag. Then they tell you to go over to the bin and you gotta take a scoop of the baits, and just whatever random baits fall in the scoop that's what's in the bag.
So you get this nice packed bag.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then I did win a glide bait, which I already sold. I sold the glide bait, so I can't show you guys. But yeah, it was a lot of cool stuff, a lot of good deals at the show.
We also had the Plinko game.
Yeah, the Plinko game. That's right.
So I think that I'd gotten some bait fuel some new missile minnows or something like that. So a little
Yeah,
sample pack.
in a pack of the bait fuel just itself, right? Just a couple sample packages.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so there was a lot going on at the expo, a lot to see, a lot of people to meet. So it was 2 days of walking. On day two, though, we did go to the weigh-in. That was also a really cool experience to go to the weigh-in.
Do you want to go into the one mishap on that too, or
Yeah,
just skip over that one?
Everything's going good for now, but something had to go wrong, right?
So yeah, we had 2 fantastic days at the expo. Like we'd met every celebrity that we basically wanted to meet for the most part. Had a great experience. I picked up my goal going down there. I wanted a new cranking rod, jerkbait rod, and a BFS setup, and I literally got all that plus line and everything. I think for $250 American. Like,
Yeah.
phenomenal deal. So then we are in line. There's buses going to the arena. We're going to Dickey's Arena, which was probably 20 minutes away, 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So we hop on the bus. After waiting in line for probably 20, 30 minutes, we have our backpacks on us because we're getting all this free stuff, stickers, whatever, the stuff we're buying, we're just throwing in our backpacks. We get to the arena. We go to scan our tickets, and they tell us you can't come inside. Now, this being said, this is 10 minutes before the weigh-in's about to start.
Also, Juan did give us a bit of a warning about this.
Our buddy, who had been to 3 of these now, says, you guys go back to the car. You can't bring your backpacks. I was like, well, everybody in line in front of us literally has brand new rods. They have their goodie bags and everything. Everybody's getting on the bus like this.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, let's not worry about it. So yeah, Juan was right.
Yeah, he was.
So they said, yeah, you guys can't come in. You have to get rid of your bags. Well, there's nowhere to check them in, nothing. So this is the first time I see Nelly really upset.
like, really? I was so annoyed.
So anyways, he was about to call an Uber and go back there. I was like, well, let's just hop back on the bus we came down here in and just go back that way. So then that's what we ended up doing. And our buddy Juan tried to get married while he was down there, I think.
He was looking for a wife.
He was looking for a wife from the bus driver down there.
He was hitting on the bus driver. It was funny. It was good, though. Good for you. Good for trying.
There was a lot of good banter back and forth on that. It was pretty entertaining. So anyways, yeah, we ended up going back, getting our car, paying the $35 for parking.
Yeah, that was expensive.
Yeah. I think we made it in for the 4th or 5th weigh-in. The only thing I really did not like about the event is they had the stage mostly facing the one way.
Yeah.
Which was towards all the family. The whole one side was just family and friends of the fishermen.
Yeah.
Everybody else is surrounded by the back. Well, you're not seeing anything. You're not seeing the live part. You're forced to watch the screen. So if I had to say anything bad about the event, that would be the only thing.
Yeah.
But the experience itself, like the fact that remembering everything down there was free for the expo, for going to the arena and stuff like that, so long as you had your tickets for it. So that factor was amazing. But yeah, I wish they kind of found a way to share the experience with everybody more, I think.
Yeah, I know you're right. Mostly everything was facing towards where all the friends and family were seating, towards where the general public was. They weren't even facing us just only a couple of them kind of waved at us, but most of them would just turn around, pick up their bats, and face their family, right?
I think it was just Chris Martin went for his way in because we were screaming as he was coming off there, and he kind of turned his head because he kind of heard us all talking.
But
we're like the only Canadians in there cheering. So
of course, when the Johnson brothers came out, we cheered pretty loud for them. So that was
definitely
cool.
Yeah.
But it was the show was great. I mean, Dave Mercer, he's a really good MC. He does a really good job doing that, bringing all the guys in. And when they do what do they call when they do is it the top 6, the hot 6 or something?
Yeah, the hot seat.
They do the hot seat, and then all the guys that finish in the top, I think is it the top 10. They put them all together in a row, and he goes down and doing a description of what everybody does, who they are. Like he keeps the momentum, he keeps everything hyped up. Like he's really good at that job. Pretty cool. So yeah, that was a good experience. Mike, did I lose you? I think we lost Mike. We're going to have to continue this later. Well, anyway, since I lost Mike over here in the camera, I don't know where he is. I'm gonna continue telling the story. After we finished the Bassmaster Expo and then the Bassmaster weigh-in, we actually went out for some good, famous Texas barbecue. So we went to a good, cool barbecue spot that got recommended by a few friends. Well, from Tim Piercy actually. And then Mike is texting me right now. Yes, I'm here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna call him and I'm gonna put him on speaker right now. Let's see. Hold on, guys. Just bear with me. I'm gonna put him on speaker. Hey, buddy, I got you on speaker because we lost you.
Oh, okay. You lost me. I wasn't sure if we lost me or lost you. So.
No, I lost you. So you're gonna be talking on speaker right now. We're gonna try to make this work.
Okay, because I still have the link still open. It's just me in here though.
It's just you?
Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna try to get you in. Okay, so I'm gonna resend you a link. See if that works. Okay. And then we'll try to get you in here. But yeah, I was just telling the guys here that on the live podcast where stuff is going not as expected.
We're live. This is where it's at.
Yeah, this is the struggle of being live. So I sent you a new link. Hopefully that works for you. But yeah, after the expo, we went to the Texas barbecue spot, which was pretty good, except for the beans. The beans were a little weird, right?
The beans were really weird. I'm not sure, like, they were trying to be sweet or sour, but they were definitely some weird beans.
Yeah, it was actually really strange. But besides that, I mean, the rest of the trip went fine. After that, we went to our day 2 of fishing, and day 2 of fishing was pretty cool. I mean, the boat worked okay. It was a little bang up. The boat was working. And the thing is that we only caught 2 fish that day. Nothing big, but we only caught 2 fish.
But the weather was phenomenal.
The weather was incredible. You couldn't ask for anything better from Lake Fork that day. You could have asked for maybe a couple of better anglers on that boat, maybe.
We tried.
We did do our best. Yeah, it was a good time. But I mean, it's crazy. We spent what 5 days in Texas, and it felt like time just flew.
Oh my goodness, it was unbelievable how fast it went, and like just spending 2 days at an expo, like it was unreal. How fast those 2 days went. Like we were still not getting home till like 11 o'clock at night, something like that.
Yeah, it was really really late every day. I mean, now, so the trip was good. I had a good time. It was a really fun time with you guys. Now tell us about the whole process of getting your refund. How long did that take?
So it realistically took, I think, almost 3 weeks in order to get this refund. Obviously, reaching out right away and contacting them every single day. And not only that, it was kind of weird because our second rental, we had an agreement for a set amount, and the final bill ended up being more.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just the deposit on the whole thing. Which it turned out it wasn't the deposit. Luckily, I called them back after about a week and a half, I think, and said, "Hey, when do I get my deposit?" And they're like, "Well, no, you've already gotten your deposit. It's already paid for." I was like, "Well, we're already hundreds more than what it was supposed to be." And so they said, "Oh, well, you didn't fill up the tank. You had roadside assistance." And I was like, "Well, first off, we filled the tank, and secondly, we never used roadside assistance." So anyways, they got the price back down to where they were originally going to charge us for. But the other one was multiple emails basically saying, I don't know if I'm going to have to take legal action against you guys if you can't solve this. Like, it's a pretty open and shut thing. Like, they tried contacting the first car rental place the night that we basically got scammed out of this, and they couldn't get an answer. Yeah. So you think at that point, it'd be simple enough to say, "Okay, yeah, sorry, here's your money back." And no, it was weeks and weeks until I had finally said, "Okay, I'm going to be contacting the Better Business Bureau, and I will be filing fraud charges against my credit card." And within, I think it was 45 minutes, I had my money back in my account.
It's crazy how you had to do that for them to actually act and get you a refund.
It's very sad, and like my wife had looked it up too, and she said, "Oh yeah, they've had a lot of issues. A lot of people have had to contact the Better Business Bureau and stuff." So,
Yeah, it's a shame.
yeah.
That's the bad.
Oh, my computer seems like it's rebooting, so I'm about to click in here, and maybe I'll be here again.
Maybe we're enjoying for the last bit of the podcast, hopefully.
Yeah, there we go.
I hear you. I hear you on the computer now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I just don't see you. Okay. Yeah, I see you. Okay. Hold tight, guys. We're trying to work some flaws over here. If I can get Mike in here again, that would be great. Let's see. You're back. I got you back.
There we go.
Alright. It worked out. We still got a few people watching, so this is good. If you've been watching from the beginning, thank you very much. And you know what? If you have not been watching from the beginning, you can watch this all over again once it's done doing live and uploaded. I appreciate you guys for coming on and watching. We've been talking about Texas for 75 minutes now because this trip was quite an adventure. We had a good time. Some ups and downs, some challenges, but I think we got it all resolved. I think we got all our money squared up. Pretty sure I don't owe you anything else, do you?
No, we're all good, buddy.
We're all
Everything's good.
And then what else were we missing here? The flight back, everything was good, and yeah, everything worked out.
I think it was just the one last thing we just found out the other day
Okay.
with your rod.
Oh yeah, don't even remind me. All right, so. We did check in rods, obviously. Before going on this trip, I did buy a few rods because I said to myself, you know what? I don't want to put my expensive rods in a rod tube and check in the plane. Let me buy some rods that are a little cheaper, and I don't mind if they break. So I bought the Daiwa Canadian series, but the spinning rod was a Fluger President. I can't remember because I couldn't find the Daiwa. It wasn't in stock. So we get down there, it was fine. On the way back, we put my rods and Mike's rods in a tube because you were bringing rods back. We kind of wrapped a t-shirt around them and all that. Anyway, when we get back, I go to drop off Mike at his at the carpool station and meet up with his wife. I open the tube, I take his rods out. I never bothered checking my rods. I said, my rods are in there. That's all I need to know. It wasn't until like 3 weeks later. This tube is sitting in my garage. I'm like, you know what? Let me take the rods out of there and organize stuff around because getting ready for the fishing season, right? As soon as I open the rod tube, I look down. I see a paper in there. I'm like, oh, Border Services opened it. So I pull out the paper, and then, yeah, it's a paper to let you know that they checked your luggage in case they find something that could be suspicious. So whatever. They opened the rod tube. I'm guessing they took the rods out. And when they're putting it back in, they weren't being careful because in the inside of the tube there's like a sliding cylinder to make the tube longer or shorter. And I remember doing this myself when I was putting the rods in there. You gotta kind of shimmy them in, or else the guides kind of, touch the sliding cylinder. My spinning rod was broken. So when I get it out, I'm like, "Are you friggin' kidding me? I got a broken spinning rod." And I'm like, ugh.
And then when he contacts me about this, I believe I was just on my way back from work at the end of the day. He's like, hey, your rod's okay? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, I just noticed one of mine's broken. Now I'm panicking because I had bought rod socks for mine, and the socks have been on them since I got back. So it's like, maybe they're broken inside. Like, I don't even know. I get in the house, and I go run into the back. I was like, what's going on? I was like, I gotta check my rods. One of Nellie's is broken. Take all the sleeves off. All mine are good, thank goodness. So.
Yeah, as long as they were good, that's all that matters. But yeah, it was it sucks to have a broken rod. Mind you, I did buy this rod with the intention of if it breaks, I don't care. But I do care, to be honest, I do care that it broke. I'm thinking of, I still have the receipt, so I'm thinking of contacting the company to see if they'll do anything for me, and if not, whatever, it is what it is, right?
So that's only 2 broken rods on the trip, so that's pretty good.
I mean, your broken rod was something else. How does that even happen?
I really wish, I was really hoping that I had that on footage, and I did not. So It's just like snap.
That was another thing on day one of fishing. For some reason, my GoPro did not want to work.
Yeah, and that's. Oh, by the way, back to the cameras quickly. I never got them back.
Yeah,
We kind of talked about that and touched on that. So we went back on the Monday. They could not find these cameras. So my cameras, my battery packs. Nelly had one of his memory cards. I think I had 3 or 4 of my memory cards in there too. So probably close to $700-800 worth of gear gone.
yeah,
So,
it hurts. It really
yeah.
does hurt. Well, yeah. So, did we forget anything? Did we talk about everything?
I think we've talked about everything. That being said, with all the bad stuff, some of you guys are thinking, "Well, you guys are never doing this again." I would 100% do it again for sure. It was an experience. I think there was definitely some little more insight into where we're renting things from, and maybe I just shouldn't be in charge of that stuff. I'm not sure.
No. You know what? You couldn't control that. At the end of the day, we were looking for the best deal when it comes to car rental. When you found that spot for car rental, it was the best price out there. So we were, I want to say we were taking that risk. I never thought anything about it. Same as you, you're renting through Priceline, so you assume it's going to be legitimate, it's going to work.
And that's exactly what I thought. You pick a company that's reputable, and you should be fine. Is what I thought. I know better now, and yeah, just a little more research.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, if we would have rented from Avis, Budget, or Enterprise, it would have cost us the same amount of money that we spent because when you start adding up the Ubers there and back, and then all the extra expenses of dealing with all this, then the money savings would have been around the same, right?
And I would say too, for anybody who just wants to visit the expo and go to the Bassmaster Classic, and one thing I regret we didn't do, because we did choose to sleep in on a couple of these days before the expo, was to at least go and see the boats launching in the morning or something. I think would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
That's something that would have been nice. But if you want to just go down to the expo and go to the weigh-in, it's 100% worth it. 100%. It's an experience. It's an absolutely great time. Like we said, we spent 2 days going up and down these aisles. Even the second day, we never went upstairs again.
No,
and there was a whole other thing upstairs. I'm sure there's stuff up there that we missed, just like on the downstairs floor, the amount of stuff we missed. So definitely worth it.
It is definitely a show that you have to experience at least once in your life. No other fishing show compares to this, and I don't mean this in a way of knocking any other fishing shows that we have here locally, because we got some really good fishing shows. Like, for example, CanCast. I love CanCast. It is my favorite fishing expo or fishing show we have here in Canada. But, I mean, if you're going to experience a fishing show one day, you have to go to the Bassmaster Expo, because you got a lot of new product releases, a lot of free samples. It's free to get in. You meet all the pros. And, yeah, so it's a great experience. You have to do it at least once. It's really cool.
Yeah, and like I said, for my first vacation, even though with everything that went wrong, I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. I had amazing company. I had an amazing time, and I would definitely do it again, 100%.
Yeah, but you're right though. Next time, if we do this again, it would be nice to wake up early and go see the takeoff in the mornings of all the pros taking off for the day.
Yeah, and I'm hoping by then maybe they kind of amalgamate to a point the kayak series and the boat series, where we can really experience both and really support that kayak series, but also enjoy that boat series at the same time.
Yes, and again, repeating that again, that would be nice to see. I would like to see this organization of Bassmasters give a little more marketing or promoting the kayak series a little more, because they could have played a few clips on the big screen at the expo. The kayak guys fishing, or the kayak guys the weighing or whatever. Yeah. But there was no mention of the Kayak Bassmaster National happening, so I would like to see a little more of that.
For sure.
Being a kayak guy at heart, I would like to see a little more of that.
Yeah.
It's got Chris Tosco on that screen.
Unless Juan's following him in the back.
Don't even get that started. But anyway, guys, I think we are going to close this out. I want to thank everybody for joining. Mike, you have a pretty cool catchphrase on your channel. Can you tell us what that is?
So fishing's a huge element in my life. I hope it's a huge element in yours. So wherever you are, live the element.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks, Mike. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.